process of parthenogenesis, the original form of parthenogenesis. Okay, so there are some women who have that. They have that non-necessity to have to, subjugate themselves under the patriarchy, and that reason. So don't feel a certain way if you're starting to feel like you want to be more autonomous, you want to strengthen yourself, you feel like you're more connected and grounded without that male energy. It's because of the androgynous being here. Okay, it's a beautiful energy. It isn't negative. Like, there are men here that aren't supposed to mate with females. The only reason they use females is to progenerate themselves. Other than that, they don't like mating with females. They don't like females. There is a species of men, not men. There's a species of men, and it's not just one. And they aren't from places where there are females. The females they only use as biological harvesters for their children. And that's the only interface they have with them. They haven't any connection to them. They're basically used for breeding. Okay, that's why you see this breed of men that coexists here that doesn't have a connection to females. I'm not talking about the biologically, it could be, well, to be honest, it could be where those worms came from. Maybe those worms come from those men, and those worms were created to keep men in, to keep them, men that are natural earth men that like to mate with females. Maybe it was to infest those men so that they wouldn't want to be with females. Could be that. I don't know. I'm just saying, the worms that are affecting men that make them not want to mate with females and only want to mate with men. It could be that they come from that species of men that only come from homeworlds where it's only males. And the only reason they have a woman is to be the harbinger of their offspring. Could be. I don't, I'm just putting that in there because it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So you have a lot of different kinds of energetic beings that are here that are zested within the population here and the avatars. And it could end up showing up in propensities that don't seem quite normal or natural because they come from other places where they don't have that male female dynamics. You know what I mean? So it could be that. Okay. The beings that are naturally from the earth system, like I'm talking about the beings that were like perceived to be heirlooms, they mate with male and female. So that's what they do. But not all beings do that from other worlds. Some are ambiguous, some are androgynous, some are asexual, some just, some are corporeal, some are non-corporeal. They don't live in corporeal bodies, so it's, mating and having that is unnecessary. They're just energy. So that's what I'm saying. There's many different types of energy that's here, beings that are here. But when you talk when you talk about the different types of mating that occurs here and why there's like a weird dynamics that's occurring just now, there could be a reason why they're inseminating men with those worms that make men into homosexuals. It could be a reason, and it could be by that species. Someone like a Sean Combs. I made a mistake before with who is it? He wasn't what was his name? He was the guy. What's his name? He was the one that was the producer for Whitney Houston. Who is it? Who is it, guys? What's his name? Not Barry Gordy. Because I think I said before Barry Gordy died. No, it wasn't Barry Gordy. I said somebody else died. It wasn't him. I said Clive Davis died, right? It was Clive Davis. But Clive Davis didn't die, right? It was somebody else who died. I made a mistake. Well, Clive Davis. Clive Davis is also very... Clive Davis is also Quincy Jones. I said, who is it that transitioned? Was it Clive Davis or was this Quincy Jones? Quincy Jones is the one that transitioned? Who passed away? Okay, Quincy Jones. Okay, I'm sorry. I made a mistake on the last video because I get the two mixed up. Quincy Jones was a flame-broiled, flaming individual who did not like engaging with females. He liked young boys, right? And you have to understand or overstand the rituals that many of the Masons and the satanic groups, the Molochians, the Dark Kabbalists, the Babylonians, they like to get little boys from young and they want to infest them with worms. And why I bring up the fact that many of the females, why the females that are not engaged with the males, they aren't infected with those worms. The worms are infested in the boys. They're infected into the little boys, maybe to put them under mind control. Because remember, the worm goes into the anus cavity, which goes towards the end part of the kundalini, that spine. And that spine goes right up to the brain. So if it's able to hijack the brain from the base of the spine, that's why little boys that get molested by males end up becoming homosexuals. It does. Why I say this is because most people think, oh, well, he was molested by a boy. That's not true. Girls that are molested by males generally don't want to mate with males anymore. They feel violated, and a lot of females that get raped by men end up wanting to only be with females. Why is it that males are the only ones who get raped by men who still want to sleep with men? Does that make sense to you? Does that really make sense to you? I'm just saying, let's just rhyme and reason, y'all. I'm just saying, we're playing a little psychologist here. Why is it that when females are raped by men, I know a lot of females who've been violated by males from young, they generally tend to not want to mate with males, and they want to mate with females, or they don't want to mate at all. Why are males the only ones who get raped by men from little boys and continue to want to sleep with men? Makes me think it's a parasite, y'all. Makes me think that they're infecting them with the worm, that most of the men are walking around here with that parasitic worm. Watch the zombie snails, y'all. Watch the zombie snails, watch the zombie ants. The worm goes inside and hijacks the entire brain of the insect. Once it hijacks the brain, it controls the propensity of that entity it's hijacked. I challenge every homosexual male who's engaged in anal sex to go and do a parasite cleanse for a month with you and your partner, and tell me how much you like to have sex with men after that. We could test the theory. And I bet you when you go to try to do the parasite cleanse, the worm inside is going to tell you not to do it. It's going to make you compromise it because it overstands and understands its own directive of survival is in you behaving and passing the worm off to other people. It cannot pass worms to other males if it does not. Even with males that are hypersex, I personally think, big up to Selma in our group of Zoom. Big up to our Zombie, Selma. She's a trans investigator. She's one of many things. But she was the one who mentioned that maybe the fact that many men who are hypersexed, can't stop having sex with a whole lot of people, it's because their worm wants to make sure it gets into enough hosts, as many as possible. So it's trying to find as many hosts. So the reason why the parasite is progenerating hypersex behavior is because it wants to be able to seed itself in as many hosts as possible. And also big up to Selma who mentioned this again. I think it was also Daryl. Big up to Daryl, the Zombies. Listen, Zoom, we cooking on Zoom, y'all. We're gonna be on Zoom tomorrow night too. We on Zoom every Thursday and Sunday, and it's usually like 3 or 4 days. It's a Zoom that doesn't end. But we were talking about that on Zoom, is that why is suicide such a big thing? Is suicide connected to perhaps having parasites? Because the human being, natural, all living beings, their directive is to live and survive. Even parasites have a directive to live and survive. What would make a human being want to kill itself? That's like something that's infesting the body that is making it go against its own self. That could be parasitically driven. I love that. Listen, I don't know if it's Daryl or Selma, but I'm just saying, we were talking about even the concept of killing oneself could be parasitically driven. Could be led by this parasite generating certain thoughts inside of a human host and it making it do things that it naturally would not do. Why is it that during all of the pandemics, the number one thing they don't want you to do is do a parasite cleanse? Remember when we all were wondering, why would a flu, why would they ban ivermectin? Why? Why were people's channels being banned for even saying it at that point? Why? What would a parasite cleanse have to do with cucarachas? You let me know. Listen, I could be crazy. I'm an ape woman. Remember, I'm a Negro. I twerk. Remember, Negroes, we like to twerk, and I'm an idiot. I'm dumb. You know, remember, 'cause some people think that. Okay. You know, all brown women are dumb. You know, we grow up on, you know, when nobody loves us, even though the number one woman that's procured sexually is a brown woman. Most of the surgeries are trying to mimic brown physicality. Okay. Even the women that so-called brown men date, like Mr. Carlson's wife, is cosplaying a brown woman. Let me stop. I'm sorry, y'all. That wasn't very nice. I take that back. That wasn't very nice. Just take that back. I apologize. That was very cruel. She can have braids and beads in it like a brown woman. She could talk like she's from the hood. What, you know, brown men say they don't like brown women, but then they get with these others who cosplay brown behavior. I just don't understand. It's the same thing as like a gay man will say he's gay and then get with a man that looks like a woman. You don't think that's mental illness? Like, if I'm a gay woman, why would I want to be with a woman that looks like a man? I don't know. I don't know. Like, why do brown women get with lunar men that act like hood brown men? I don't know. These are the things that make you go, right? Why would lunar men get with brown women that act like lunar women? If I'm a brown woman and I like lunar men, why would I get with a lunar man who acts like he's a brown man? Y'all should not encourage me on here. This is not a good thing. You should encourage my behavior. I was good for the first part of the video. Please disregard this one, because you know when I start going on tangents, it's not a good thing. Okay. When they telling everybody brown women are the ugliest women on earth, but everybody wants brown qualities. Everybody wants a tan. Everyone wants big lips, big butt. I don't know. They want melanin. But brown women are ugly, right? Everyone said brown women are terrible. They're the most unattractive, but they're the number one women that's procured sexually and kidnapped on the planet for sex slavery. Brown women are so unattractive that supposedly during the whole slave trade, they were the number one woman being raped, but she's unattractive, right? By a lunar master, creating a whole bunch of mixed kids. Look at everybody with the last name Jefferson, and has red hair. I don't know. Just listen. That's what I'm saying. Like the projecting is crazy, y'all. Projecting is crazy. You know what I mean? Okay, so y'all, is everybody good? I thank you everybody for letting me talk. How long was I with y'all? I'm thankful that you came on, which I hope I talked about everything. Well, let me just say, the sons of Anakim and the daughters of Andromeda are here. I will let you know that the Willy Wonka system are very, very scared. Well, I shouldn't say scared. They are trying to get everything. They're trying to kill as many as they can before the Mother Hubbard ship comes. So they are rushing because, again, if you kill all the witnesses, how do you know it happened? And again, if you want to find out who's really doing everything, go to the diamond and gold districts, because they always say we're prejudiced, right? Even though I'm an ape and a Negro who twerks on Sundays, right? And I'm just, you know, epitome of blackness. But go to the diamond district and the gold district, and you tell me who's selling all the gold and diamonds. If I'm in Africa and I come from a place that has diamonds and gold and I'm unable to sell it, and you don't see any remnants of me, I would call whoever's selling the gold and diamonds pirates of the Caribbean, pirates of Africa. I'm just saying. And again, to the countries who are about to get pummeled by our governments, we have absolutely, as citizens, nothing to do with it. We wouldn't agree. We have nothing to do with it. Please leave us alone. If you got to get it done, get it done. We going to step aside. Just give us the warning. We will step aside, let you do what you do, because we have no participation in anything. I rebuke our government. I rebuke Israel's government. I rebuke UK's government. I rebuke India's government. I rebuke Trudeau. Well, Trudeau is wearing spandex rainbow shorts on Tuesday now. I don't think I have to rebuke him anymore. Whoever's annexing him, I rebuke him too. I rebuke all of them. But I have nothing to do with it. Okay? And while you people are caping for what's going on in Israel right now, let me just tell you, I don't know how you have a president, because I didn't vote for him. I don't vote for anybody, because it's all chosen. Okay, Trump is a Trojan horse, and Elon is the AI Satan of mass destruction, and Vivek is the progenitor of the AI system. Anyway, but I will tell you, like, how do you have a whole holy land? How is it called a holy land? Just listen to the word whole, whole. Why does it have a hole in it? Why is it a holy land where you have a whole bunch of so-called Jews over there? I don't know what they are. Are they Jews, Israelites? I don't know. Israelis. Not all Israelis are Jews, I don't think. But all these Israelis over there, how come you have images of Israelis spitting? I mean, I'm not talking about like normal spit. I'm talking about like, listen, y'all. I'm talking about like 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds, old men that look like their Johnson hasn't worked since 1982, hawking up a whole bunch of spit on Christians over there going to pray in Jerusalem, and nobody's saying anything about it. It's actually so regular and so much of a normal occurrence that a so-called chosen people are hawking up a whole bunch of spit and spitting on Christians. All you Jesus lovers, they spitting on you. I mean, I'm talking about full on hawking, like, and hitting you in Jerusalem. And none of you, that's what I'm saying. Do you trust Trump? You think Trump doesn't know that a whole bunch of these so-called Israeli religious people, children, little demons of mass destruction, are hawking a whole bunch of spit on Christians, Jesus lovers in Jerusalem? And how come nobody's talking about that? Hey, MAGA, those who support Trump. You love Trump, right? You didn't like the pooping president. I don't like him either. You love Trump, right? How come Trump doesn't speak about that? I thought the Holy Land was for everybody. The Rothschilds let all these European Khazar converts over there, and they've been not only colonializing, they are violating the so-called Christians who sit here caping for them, because, y'all Jesus lovers, you love Israel, okay? They spitting. Their children are spitting on y'all. Go to visit there and talk about Jesus and see how they feel about you. While they're gentrifying the freak out of the Middle East. You got Syria being gentrified, Palestine. They're saying there's no such thing as Palestine because they think if they say it enough, they'll make you forget. They're killing all the people because as long as you don't have witnesses. And the sad thing is Israel opened up the borders. Bibi opened up the borders to kill his own people. That's my opinion. I don't have proof of it. But why would you have a border open when you are the most paranoid people there is? And you telling me on October 7th, that was just the day you just like, and you let those young people get sacrificed so that you could have an excuse to go over there and gentrify the F out of Palestine. And then not one celebrity saying anything about it, y'all. Not one. You don't hear Trump saying anything about children getting shot straight in the head or their balls being shot off. Because remember, those are the chosen people. Chosen for what? Now, I'm not religious, so, I'm not going over there stomping with Jesus. Because remember what they did to Billy Carlson. Coach Carlson, they came for him. Jesus people came for him because he said Jesus wasn't sacrificed and he was married. Listen, Jesus people, that's what I'm saying, Jesus people, if you believe in Jesus, how you letting Israelis spit in your face when you go to the holy wall? I'm just asking for a friend. Cause you get mad at me if I say I talk to aliens and I'm a contactee, but you not saying nothing about Israel and them little Nazi, little nasty, little non-human beings spitting. I mean, hawking a whole spit. How come y'all ain't saying nothing? Are you complicit? You taking a check too? How much they paid you? How much are they paying you to keep your churches so that you're complicit in that kind of behavior, that vitriol behavior that is going with these beings that are converts that are let over in the so-called Holy Land? How come y'all ain't saying nothing, Jesus people? You'll go after Carlson though, right? You'll go after Billy Carlson. Now, I don't associate. I told you I don't have any association with him. But I'm just saying, how hypocritical is that? You gonna go after a whole Billy Carlson, but y'all won't say a god darn thing towards Israelis spitting on your holy people. Jesus is not my thing. That's, y'all believe in that. But I'm just saying, if you believe in Jesus Christ and you believe that's the son of your God and you believe that Jesus is God, how you letting them get away with that and not say anything? You taking a check? It seems like everybody's getting a check. So you could be complicit. You could just allow a whole group of people to just do some sort of crazy thing like that. Because I tell you, if you dared spit in Brooklyn on a Hasidic Jew, your mother freakers would not only be called anti-Semitic, they will put you under the jail. Matter of fact, you won't ever see anything. Your bank accounts will be taken. Your social media accounts will be taken. Let you try that. Let you do that to a Jew up in Brooklyn. Let you go and hawk up some spit and see if you and your ancestors won't pay for a lifetime. That's the kind of hypocrisy we live in. But it's happening in the Holy Land. I'm saying a whole lot of crazy things. I don't know if this video is gonna stay. Listen, I don't have a bone in this. I'm not a Jew. Well, according to the context, I actually am a Semite. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me take that back. I am a Semite, right? So can a Semite be an anti-Semite? I am a Semite, right? Remember what happened to Kanye West, and he's never been back since? They replaced him and have him walking around with a whore with her clothes off. She dyed her hair blonde to let them know that's been rectified, because that's how they signal to each other that that's been corrected, right? Walking around with a whole whore, and he loves his daughter, and now his daughter is under the full handle of the whole of mass destruction, wearing corsets, short skirts, and dancing without rhythm on TikTok. You think Kanye would have let that happen? Remember the last thing that the real Kanye said before they took him out? Who'd he tell you? How come I can't say nothing about how come I can't say Palestine? How come you can't say Palestine? How come you can only say Gaza? How come Palestine is not even said anymore? You don't think that, just like UFOs are not said anymore, it's like UAPs. You see how, look, social media, follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow. Like I said, follow the goal. Who's controlling social media? How come I can't say Palestine or Congo? How come I can't tell you to go to the Gold and Diamond District and reference what nationality of people has control over gold and diamonds, even though they don't come from anywhere where gold and diamonds exist? I'm just asking for a friend. I'm a Semite. Remember that book and that player? What was that guy's name again? Remember, y'all? His name was he was reading the book. He was a basketball player. I forgot his name. And he mentioned from Negroes to Hebrews to Negroes. Was it Hebrews to Negroes? Negroes to Hebrews, or Hebrews to Negroes? What was the book, y'all? You know what it is. Can someone remind me? What was it? Kyrie, thank you. I like his name, Kyrie. He's got a K. You got to be careful with names with K because it's at 11. It's always got like weird gateways that open. You always get like weird kind of things that happen with K's in your name. Got to be careful. It's like you're constantly in that Christ energy. Because if Christ existed, it would be with a K, not a C. Okay. Kyrie, remember, what was it? Hebrews to Negroes? What was it, y'all? Can someone tell me the name of the book again? Hebrews to It was a good documentary. I watched a documentary. But it was Hebrews to Negroes. What was it, y'all? You know what it is. Who can someone say it? Hebrews to Negroes. Is it Negroes to God? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't that. It was Hebrews to Negroes. I forgot what it was called. I watched the documentary. It was really good. I watched the Let me see. Nobody knows what it is. You should go see it. They probably took it off already. I'm surprised that they Hebrews to Negroes. Thank you. Wake Up Black America. Thank you. Thank you so much, Delmashe. Delmashe gave the name here. I suggest everybody get the book. Lunars, you too, because you have been blamed. Let me give the Lunars some love, y'all, because you always think I'm a hating self monkey, Negro, twerking, drug addict. What do you call us? What's the new name? DEI? That's the new thing you say, even though most brown people have to work 10 times harder just to get a basic job. You call us DEIs. That's disrespectful, Lunars, right? You know why? Because in order for us to get a job that we're qualified for, we have to be 10 times more qualified than y'all to get the same job. That's the crazy part. Get over your mind control. Stop it already. That's not true. DEI is some sort of weird slang that y'all use, and it's not true. And as far as affirmative action, if you're mad at affirmative action, you should start getting on the Chinese and Indian who use it to the 10th degree. We brown people aren't benefiting from affirmative action. Asians, Latinos, and Indians get all the affirmative action. So for you saying that is so disrespectful because it means you're woefully ignorant. And if you want to ask about what happened with affirmative action, why a lot of Asians are pissed off because they're not getting the benefits anymore, though you said it was us. Shame on you. Okay, so Lunars, let me give you a little props. Okay, big up to all my Lunars in the house because I'm an equal opportunist. I got to give you a little love too. You know that those others have been using you as a scapegoat. I told you. See, you should have been nice to brown people and stop letting them get killed and shot and blamed for things that they're not doing. But you threw a lot of brown people under the bus, and those others were using your community to cloak themselves. And now that they used your community to do so, they blame you for everything. They blamed you for the slave trade, even though you didn't have the boats, Lunars. It was them, because remember, my Professor Jeffries got kicked out of college. Big up to Professor Jeffries. He was my professor in CCNY, City University of New York. He said that the Jews were participating in the slave trade. Remember he said that? He said that they were the ones who owned the boats and benefited and had the benefits. But they said it was y'all in Europe. But did you know it wasn't y'all? It actually was true. It was the Sephardic boats, what we consider to be the Moors, because they were the conquistadors, but they were really Moorish, or, conquistadors were really Sephardic Jews, right? Spaniards, right? They were the ones who did it. I don't believe in the slave trade like that, but they just mixed all the brown people around in the Americas because we were already in the Americas. So they just kind of did a dipsy-doozle with the brown people here. But I'm just bringing that up. So Lunars, I'm sorry that they blamed you. They wanted you to get blamed for it. And you guys knew it wasn't y'all. But you did benefit from it because they needed you as a smokescreen so that they could do all the dirty things now. So now, Lunars, if you have anyone to be upset about, you definitely need to get mad at those who are in the diamond districts who are selling all the gold from Africa and everything, because they're throwing your community under the bus right now. The reason why your country is being infiltrated in Europe, Western countries, and in the Americas with all these so-called migrants, who do you think is sending them here? Who do you think has incentivized for them to come here, y'all? Lunars, You shouldn't have blamed brown people because we're not doing crime to that degree. Only poor brown people do crime, not middle class young people. And the majority of brown people in America, 60% of brown families are above middle class, middle and upper. So while you were blaming us for being drug addicts, lazy, deprived, ghetto, what is the word ghetto? Why are we being associated with the word ghetto? Who was living in ghettos initially? You don't realize how they change words and redirect it on a new group of people? Bait and switch. Who was living in ghettos? Can someone say it? Do 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 do. So why are ghettos being associated with black people? Who decided to rearrange or change and put that face, that genre on a new face? You know, I don't have any APEC representatives in the back of every congressional person trying to tell me that if I don't have the interests of Israel, that I cannot hold a position of power in any congressional spot. Why did we have a whole country who has a representative who goes to handle a congressperson who's not from the United States? Why did that happen? Why did JFK really die? And why are those sealed? Why is his death and assassination sealed so long, even though it's not what you think? Because when he was assassinated, a whole new foreign interest became propped up. And all this wonderful funding was going to this beautiful country where they get free medical. Yes, they do, y'all. And guess what? I won't say the country. You could just guess. You could just guess in the thing. This is fun facts today. While you in America bust your butt, barely have medical, and you see what happens when you're medical when they don't agree with it, right? They just chemicalize you, try to give you all kinds of diabolical side effects. You'll take one thing that gets rid of one thing and gives you 10 million things, or you'll have to go and spend a whole bunch of money at the hospital where you barely get decent care. But guess what? There's a country where we're funding right now, and a fun fact, they have better medical than you and I. And guess what? If they don't have the proper medical in their country and they need something, the United States, as so generous as they are, guess what they do, y'all? They pay for a flight free. God darn it. We are so generous. They get a free flight to the United States to any hospital that does the treatment that they need, and they don't have to pay a dime. If I'm a liar, go look at the facts. I could be a liar. I told you, I'm ghetto. Remember? Ghetto. I have brown skin. I twerk on Tuesdays, right? I'm on drugs, alcohol. I'm coming from marginalized people. Like, I'm not educated. I'm a hood rat. Why would you listen to me? You could just look. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Why is Kennedy's assassination still sealed, y'all? Maybe because if you found out who else was involved in this assassination, maybe that wonderful country where we donate so much money, who have free medical on our behalf, maybe we won't fund them anymore. If you know that that country participated in not one assassination, but almost all. Or that 9/11 was not only just an inside job, but the very country that gets free medical was responsible for that too. And maybe that's why the Middle East is being gentrified. Wow. They had to change it and not call it Middle East. They couldn't call it Africa anymore because then you would link Africa to dark skin. So they had to first gentrify it and change it and recreate a name, Middle East, so that you didn't associate the Middle East with African skin. That's the first thing that they did. And then they had to send a bunch of Germans into Palestine to start the process. German Jews. Look it up. So really what you're seeing in Gaza, Palestine, is white on white crime. But let me go back to lunars, because I was giving you love lunars. I'm sorry. I kind of fell off the board a little bit. So you got blamed for the slave trade, and y'all had nothing to do with it. You benefited from some of it because you were just a smokescreen. But you weren't the ones who created the slave trade or the redirection of people, brown people, in the Americas. It was the same group of people that was given a land in the middle of the Middle East who's now gentrifying the entire region, making sure they get the beachfront property sold right there in Brooklyn by the yeshivas. Okay? It's so beautiful to live in America. So many wonderful things are happening. Isn't it beautiful, y'all? I want to give a shout out to America. Let me give a shout out to America. Thank you so much for being so transparent, just creating a whole bunch of psyops, like putting fear into people, basically spraying everybody. I gotta give you a shout out. Basically sidebarring and dealing with a whole hostile nation who basically we give everything to, but they killing the F out of everybody else. Thank you, America. You know what? That's what's making America great again. Is that what we mean when we say make America great again? Make America great again like it was when your president, that probably was the only one who could have stopped these parasitic, vampiric, Babylonian psychopaths from taking over. Is that what he means, Trump? Is that what he means? We could go back to the time when that man could be assassinated on national television, and so a whole patsy can be created to hide the true agenda and the real people responsible for it. Is that what you mean by make America great again? I don't know. What you think, y'all? I don't know. Maybe I'm a psychopath. Maybe I'm crazy. I think sometimes, maybe it's my imagination, right? I'm just a monkey. I'm a dumb monkey. DEI, right? I'm a DEI monkey. I'm not very educated. I come from dumb people, right? I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I'm wearing a whole bunch of fake hair, because that's all us brown women do, got a whole bunch of children by a whole bunch of men. You know what I mean? I twerk on 5 days a week. You know what I mean? That's what we do. You can't listen to somebody like that. Dumb monkeys. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? According to Fresh and Fit, all brown people are ugly. All brown women, even though we're the number one women on the list for sexual deviancy. But, you know what I'm saying? Big up to the dumb monkeys, the ghetto trash, the ghetto rats, big up to us. You know what I mean? We represent, you know what I'm saying? They call us everything. I wish that us dumb monkeys could have some gold to go sell on the market. You know what I mean? I thought my brown skin had some perks, but apparently supposedly I'm from Africa, and Africans are not even selling gold and diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Ugly. Remember Fresh and Fit? Mylan, whatever his name is? He said we're all brown women are ugly. We're the bottom 2%. That's what he said. And these are the people. And guess what? Fresh and Fit. What's his name? Myron. Whatever his name. Myron. You know what's crazy about that? He said that. But guess what he has? And who's helping him on the back leg? One of those wonderful people that help our government, like those APAC people. He's got an APAC representative too. That's why he's nicely being pushed up and propelled and saying nasty things about brown women, because every time he says things like that, it helps. Remember when Candace Owens could talk all dastardly about brown people on our Jewish network? Remember Dave, what's his name? She was with Ben Shapiro on the what was it called, The Something News. Yeah, Ben Shapiro. Remember? He was Jewish. Yeah, he loved her talking about her people. Oh, the more she talked about brown people, oh, he loved it. He pushed it. Ben Shapiro, oh yeah, keep talking about a Daily Wire. Thank you. Keep talking about those people. Yeah, you gotta be supported. But guess what? When she stopped talking about her people, guess what he did? And she spoke about his people, he got rid of her. She learned real quick who her master was, right? She learned real quick. You were only as good as the diabolical, disfranchising, and dirty talking about people who look like you. But as soon as you talked about somebody else, boy, oh boy, they got rid of you real quick, Candace. And now you caping, right? You caping. That's the only reason you talk about that community is because they came after you. Don't talk about them because of what they really did, because you shut your mouth when you got that check at the Daily Wire because you were incentivized to cape and only talk diabolical, just like Myron talking about brown women, though he comes from brown, because he's probably a self-hating coon just like you were, Candace Owens. I don't give you props because you talk about things now that relate to us, because you still a self-hating coon because you didn't do it when you should have, when you were still getting paid. You did it when they came after you. So it doesn't make it real. I could be wrong. All right, y'all. I went on a whole nother tangent. It's supposed to be just about aliens and everything. I haven't been on in a while. I hope this is I shouldn't have talked about it. Maybe I don't know. When I'm on for too long, I just rant. I used to rant more often, so you didn't get it all in one video. I just had time to rant a little bit. Women, take care of yourselves. Take care of you. It doesn't matter what people say about you. You loving you is all that matters. If your partnership is not helping you and it's hurting you, you need to release it into the ether, because what's coming down the pipeline, y'all, there's going to be a lot of consequences for people who are apathetic and participants in doing harm to those who were perceivably, no one's a victim, innocent. Let's just say the innocent. So if you have a husband who's mistreating you, you can do better and be happier and miserable all by yourself better than you can be with someone who mistreats you. And just know, and just a FYI, because we were discussing this and it kind of goes off on another tangent. For all those who have children, mothers, aunties, grandmothers, stop letting your children bathe with other children like their cousins, and stop letting men around your children. A lot of men and women are molesting children that you let have access to your children. Children should not be bathing or sleeping in bed because things happen, and the amount of social media is influencing children to the most diabolical degree, to where they're doing things to their own siblings or cousins. Stop. If you never heard it and maybe you didn't know it, let me be someone who illuminates that to you. Watch your children and stop letting men, strangers, or people that have no care or having any stake in the welfare of that child. A lot of children are being raped, molested, and violated by people that mothers, abuelas let in their house. And if you have a whole bunch of children in your house, you need to watch them, because if one is violated, they will violate all the others. I'm just putting it FYI because I think sometimes moms don't talk about it. I know it's tabooed. And babysitters, mothers, if you have girls who are babysitting your children and they are in pubescent age, most of the men that we know as women were molested by their babysitters. These young women that are 15 and 16 that you're allowing to babysit your children that are going through puberty or is sexually deviant, a lot of them are molesting the children that they're babysitting for. If you listen to the amount of men that will tell you, husbands, brothers, majority of them were molested by women, girls that were babysitting them. Just because they're family doesn't mean they're not going to violate your children. And just because he's the father of your children doesn't mean if he has a deviant sexual behavior and he's got worms because he's probably got infested by women sleeping with gay men or otherwise, he has a sexual deviancy and that worm wants to perpetuate itself and it doesn't care where it lands. Fathers molest their children too. And I know this is taboo to talk about, but if no one else is going to talk about it, then let me be the one to be the bad guy to talk about it. A lot of people don't realize that their children are being violated by other children that are molested and are living in households of hell because they're being touched and they're going to perpetuate it on your child. Keep your children to yourself. Watch your babies. Keep them to yourself. This is a time we want to protect our offspring. They are doing more diabolical things. The Willy Wonka has more coming, and stop making certain information available to them. One of the things I'm going to ask for C-Stars to do is to make sure you do a parasite cleanse. If I can advocate for anything on this live today, because the aliens are in the parasites. The worms are the aliens, y'all. And it is the worms that is infecting people with the most diabolical things. If I can request for everyone on here to give themselves a parasitic cleanse, your children as well, I would ask for everyone on here, not for me. It's not going to benefit me, it will benefit you. For everyone. And who is unwilling to do it in your house, you should remove them from your house. Because the parasites are controlling the environment right now. And they are causing a lot more infections of these type of entities and energies that is hijacking the brain and causing for more diabolical, perverted behavior. And for those who are not liking those beings who like to spit on you Christians and Jesus lovers, if you have a problem with a people that's disrespecting your Jesus, instead of going after a man online who basically didn't say anything but talk about Jesus perhaps not being crucified, why don't you go after the perpetrators that are living in the so-called holy world who are spitting on your so-called Christian practitioners? If you're going to have a target, put it at least on the target that's rightful. Instead of you going after a whole man online because he says something that you don't like about Jesus, if you believed in Jesus Christ, then you would go after the true perpetrators who are over there spitting and causing a wreck over in Jerusalem right now. And stop giving money to a nation that does not like you Christians. I'm just saying. If you love Jesus Christ, that's you. You like Jesus and all that, then you need to start standing up for your so-called Christ. And the first place you need to stand up is ask your government, why are they supporting a nation that does not love or respect you? Y'all be quick to talk about some. Christians will talk about a whole bunch of things. Like, how come Christians are still eating pork with a whole bunch of worms in church during recession? Why don't Christians have an eating habit that does a cleanse of, certain Christians do. I think it's the Seven Adventists and the Seven Adventists, I think the Mormons and the, what are the ones that knock at the door? What's the ones that knock on the door? The ones that knock on the door. I forgot. Who are they? They do the cleanse. I know they do a fast. I don't want to say all Christians because I know there's Jehovah Witness. I think they do a fast too. Besides that, you Christians, you should have a formulated way of eating that is preventing you from being infiltrated by demonic forces in your food. And the fact that you don't have every other religion, like Judaism, they eat kosher and parv, Muslims eat, halal, how come you don't have an eating habit? And then you wonder why there's a whole bunch of child molestation and incest happening within Christian families. I'm not saying they don't happen in Muslims and Judaism, but I'm just saying maybe you need to do a whole revival with you guys doing a parasite cleansing, because you're not doing a very good job at representing your Christianity when it comes to who disrespects you and how your government is allotting funds to a people that hate you. I'm not a practitioner. I'm just a interpreter.